Deal TV, learn and earn.
Thanks for watching Deal TV Learn and Deal TV Africa on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, name it, you get us. We are back with Deal Sports. Deal Sports, none other than Maya75. I'll be giving the sports update, but we deal with the business aspect of the sports business. So right now we are going to talk about the great man, the best of all times, the greatest player of soccer in the world. This is none other than Diego Armando Maradona. The world woke up to news of the death of Maradona, who died this week at the age of 60. But this Argentina soccer player has been one of the greatest, if not the greatest soccer player in the world, and everyone can everyone can say that this is true information. Diego Maradona has been a very, very great soccer player. So Diego Maradona, we need to know, okay, has a lot of controversies, a lot of news that you need to know. He's dealing with the drugs, his family, because he had one wife, as he claimed, for all that he married in around 1986, but then with 2 kids. But then he said he never had any woman. But then later on in the years, he went ahead to accept 4 of the kids that he had fathered in different women around the world. And then as he died, there was also another child that was claiming that Diego Maradona was his father, whom he left without accepting. So that's the life of Diego Maradona. But then we are going to see why people were mourning Maradona. Many people went ahead to mourn Maradona as a great soccer legend. His lawyers confirmed that he died of a heart attack at his home in the suburbs of Buenos Aires less than a month after his 60th birthday. But this was probably around 2 weeks after Diego Maradona had gone through a successful brain operation where he had blood clot on his brain. So he was operated successfully. There was a lot of raining, crying around the hospital, but then Diego Maradona was able to go back home safely after the successful operation. But unfortunately, after the operation and then going back, then he was claimed by a heart attack. After successfully playing for the Argentina national team for a number of years, I think he played for 4 World Cup for the national team. Remember, the World Cup comes every after 4 years. So those are around 16 years, which is almost 2 decades. So this guy was a great performer. I'm going to quote for you only one message that was tweeted by Pele. Pele is one also of the greatest players. Pele went ahead and said, "Sad to lose a friend this way. Certainly one day we shall kick a ball together in the skies above." This shows how touched Pele was with the death of Maradona. But it's not only Pele that was saddened by the death of Maradona. We go ahead to send our condolences to the fans all over the world, and specifically to the people of Argentina for losing a great, great asset. One of the greatest things that can't be forgotten about Maradona was the phrase that he coined in the 1986 World Cup. We shall give you more details later on in another episode about the hand of God. So it was a tagline that he coined that came. You couldn't separate the bland Diego Armando's Maradona, and then the tagline, the hand of God. So this was a phrase he coined following his goal in Argentina versus England during the 1986 FIFA World Cup, which saw his side go one goal up England. So they won England with 1-0. But after the match, Diego Maradona went ahead and said that this goal could have fetched him a yellow card just because he used both his head and the hand. So it was a goal that he scored with his hand, but unfortunately there was no this soccer technology that as we have it of today, so the referee couldn't see what really had happened. So he goes and says that is a goal that he scored a little with his head and a little with a hand of God. This refers to that maybe God could have done a greater deed with him scoring with his hand, not necessarily Maradona's hand, and then the referee couldn't see that Maradona had scored with his hand. So let's go straight to his net worth. As a legend of soccer, a player, Maradona went on to become the coach after his soccer career. During his retirement, he went to become a coach. And then he is estimated to be worth 100,000 US dollars, which is approximately 75,000 pounds. If you could see that this is relatively a smaller amount according to, if you compare Maradona with other international players, mostly of those we have today. But then the Argentina star is known to have had issues with his finances. He couldn't keep his money well, so his spending was too huge. So he wasn't a man who could keep his finances well. For example, in 2009, the Italian police seized a pair of his earrings. The earrings were worth 3,600 pounds. So they seized these earrings from Maradona just because of the fact that he had tax areas that he hadn't cleared during his reign as a Napoli coach. Napoli is a club in Italy, as we know. So then, if you remember, 3 years prior to this incident, the police took a Rolex watch that was worth 10,000. So if this guy could afford buying 10,000 watch and this could be taken by the police, it means he had issues with money, because most of in these countries, if you don't clear your taxes, then it becomes a very, very huge problem for you. So Maradona played at the clubs from 1984 to 1991, during which time he had locked up 37 million pounds. Just imagine, 37 million pounds in unpaid taxes. Because when you don't pay taxes, they accumulate and accumulate. So if we see that his net worth is only at 75,000 pounds, but then he has unpaid debt of 37 million pounds only in Italy. So what about in these other countries, maybe Argentina and then other countries that he went? It means that this guy had a great big problem with managing his finances. But then Maradona went ahead and blamed this tax issue to the tax debt issue to some of the Napoli directors, who he said that they never informed him about the initial tax debt that he had to pay before it accumulated to that amount of 37 million. So, but then, as a professional player, he had to be with personal accountants who could inform him of what was transpiring with his finances. At least this is verified information from the Italian sports uh, daily, the Corriere dello Sport, that says of this information about the Maradona debt and his claim that the directors were not able to inform him about the debt areas as of start before they accumulated to that amount. So as we've seen, as we wind up, Diego Maradona was able to have a 2-decade career in sports, active sports. Then he was a coach for Barcelona and Napoli. Then he scored 34 goals in the 91 appearances on the Argentina national team during the World Cup series. Then, as we go, we shall miss Diego Maradona as the highly ranked or greatest football player of all times. This should be remembered that in 2008, after retiring from active playing sports, soccer, he went on to be the coach for Argentina, a job he did until 2010 in the World Cup in South Africa, where Germany beat Argentina in the quarterfinals, and then that's when he lifted the towel and said, "This is the end of it all." So, what do we learn from this? That if you are there, a sports player, if you are a sports manager, you are a soccer player manager, you should always look to it that the finances, the taxes, everything is standing, so that these guys have to live a well legacy. There's nothing to show about his investment and all, but that's all we could have about the finances and then financial portfolio of Diego Armando Maradona from Dell Sports and the team I'm dealing with at Dell TV Learn and main Maya 75 on Dell Sports. My ham to the palm. We say bye bye.
Deal TV, learn and earn.